lineup, one of the top ranked 50th in the country, hitting .304 as a team. And one of the key players to watch is Kylie Chanel, the freshman, who right now is probably the American Rookie of the Year favorite. And as Coach Clark calls her, the doubles queen of this offense.
Hey, everybody loves a good double. Balls in the gap are going to be huge right now, and Kylie Chanel definitely leading the way for the Owl offense.
They will be facing Caitlin Felton, the junior, getting the start coming off the shutout in a 5-inning run rule victory over Houston on Saturday. She's won her last 3 decisions, especially as a starter. Has really had a good Big 12 season and been on a good roll lately.
I like Felton getting the ball tonight. Definitely just a mix-up of what we continue to see, a very now depth-worthy staff in the circle for Coach Paul Malone.
First pitch of the ball game. And we're underway here at the Plex on a windy Wednesday afternoon. Glad you could join us wherever you are on Big 12 now here on ESPN+. Owls, of course, coming in on top of the American. As Cameron Jackson fouls that pitch off. So Jackson here leading in the leadoff spot tonight for the Owls. We're coming off losing 2 out of 3 to North Texas. Jackson, a transfer from Duke, was an all-ACC performer during her time at Duke. A 1-1 the count. Fouls that pitch off. FAU is a fast-starting team. As Jordan Clark described it, their motto is Fight Club. I like to punch first. And they've done that in the first inning this year, scoring 38 runs, outscoring their opponents 38-10.
Coming in a ball game early and trying to set the tone really by way of offense, scoring a couple runs definitely puts the pressure on the other side. So I like Coach Clark trying to stick to that method, knowing what her team does well and trying to stay the course.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Here to Jackson. He's 13 All-ACC in 2022, grad student now out of Tampa, Florida. Swings and fouls it off. Knights in their all whites. FAU in the blue with the red there. First time these two teams' programs are playing since 2021. They used to be conference rivals back in the ASUN from 02 to 05. And they've had similar tracks. 2-2. Jackson reaches for it, hits it to left field. Stormy Kotzelnick in foul territory, makes the catch for the first out of the ball game. You look at the Knights' defense, ranked 6th in the country in fielding percentage, with Janisha Rowe, Kotzelnick, and Evans in the outfield, with Sierra Humphreys at third, with Jazz Williams at short, Aubrey Evans at second, Shannon Doherty at first, and the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, Ashley Griffin, behind the plate. First pitch is a strike to Presley Liebrick.
Eric, does the leadoff batter hitting a fly ball in foul territory to Stormy Kotzelnick feel at all familiar to you a couple weeks ago?
Happened last week against Jacksonville when she dove for the Jacksonville one. That was more routine. The count is 1-1 to the grad transfer Presley Liebrick, transferred out of Lipscomb. Recently made her 200th career hit. Coach Clark has turned over this Owls roster. As that pitch is missed for a ball. 8 transfers on this year's team. With Liebrick being a part of it. It's gotten FAU here on top of the American. With 3 weeks to go there. 2-1 pitch. It's a strike, 2-2. Of course, I mentioned both these programs started in the ASUN. UCF went on to CUSA. FAU would replace UCF in Conference USA when UCF moved to the American. And now FAU basically replacing UCF in the American in their first year since UCF moving to the Big 12. 2-2. That's a slow grounder to third. Humphreys is there. We'll throw to first in time to get Liebrick. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the first.
And good routine ground ball right there from Humphreys, firing over to first. Love when your defense can make the routine plays behind you. Always helps in the circle. Felton, I like her pitch efficiency so far, just going right at these hitters, not trying to waste any time. She's going to come in this game and really showcase her rise, curve, and drop ball mostly. But right now, it looks like she's working a lot more up on the plate, up in the zone, and in on the hands of these hitters.
Facing the sophomore Mora out of Apopka, Florida. Bit of a homecoming. Played high school at Apopka High School. Pops it up, infield. Humphreys and Williams. Williams calls off Humphreys to make the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning. Welcome back. Bottom of the first inning. A look at the Knights lineup. It'll be Janisha Rowe lead it off, followed by Shannon Doherty. Jada Cody in the DP spot hitting third with Chloe Evans. Ashley Griffin, Sierra Humphreys, Stormy Kotzelnick in the seventh spot, Aubrey Evans and Jazz Williams hitting ninth for the Knights. As the first pitch is a ball, we have a move already made as Trinity Schlottenbach will get the ball here for Coach Clark. She showed Jayden Martinez in the lineup, but makes the switch here as Trinity started at the flex. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. The transfer from Maryland, a two-way player.
Schlotterbeck going to come in this game and be one of the harder throwers in this FAU staff here. She's more of a drop ball kind of kid, so going to keep the ball down in the zone, but just really trying to work on locating those pitches is going to be the key.
Rowe with the bunt, and it goes foul. So Trinity was shown in the lineup in the DP spot, but it was a flip. They showed Martinez. Both of these head coaches know how to maneuver the roster in the lineups and maximize the roster. A ball and 2 strikes to count. And it's 2-2 to Rowe. Hitting .402 on the year, no homers, 7 RBIs. So look at the numbers on Trinity. From Williamsport, Maryland. Is an all Big Ten defensive player, but is playing more two-way here than she did at Maryland. 2-2 pitch. Rowe with a high chopper. Trinity will underhand to first. A nice play. That's right there an example why she was an all Big Ten defensive performer. That was not an easy play for a pitcher, but she did it to get Rowe out for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. We have Shannon Doherty hitting .302 with 2 homers, 24 RBIs. Been having a red-hot bat as you look at the Owls' defense. Jackson Hammonds getting the start at left field with Liebrick at right, Chanel at short, Mora at third. It's a defense. These are 2 very good defenses. UCF ranked 6th in fielding percentage in the country. FAU right behind them at 7. 0-1 the count to Doherty, who collected her 200th career hit on Sunday in the victory over Houston in the top of the first. 12th night player ever to reach 200 career hits. You know what it's like to get that 200th hit. You had 204 in your future Hall of Fame career there at FSU.
You're so kind, but that's a good little tidbit. I did not know that. So
what? You had 200 hits?
Yeah, I didn't know. I saw.
You remember
Shannon,
your 200th hit?
No, I don't remember.
Wow.
Couldn't even tell you when it was, but I got to watch Shannon Doherty's this past weekend, so maybe I'll live vicariously
there
through
you go.
Her and Jada Cody both.
Both of them reaching the 200 career hit mark this year. 2 balls and a strike to count to Doherty. That's in the dirt, but more importantly, her bat's picked up here the last couple of weeks, and it's not a coincidence the Knights have been playing their best softball with Doherty, playing her best softball of the year.
It has, and I think that was something that we talked about early on, Eric, was going to be a key of success for the UCF offense was Shannon Doherty's bat getting hot because, of course, you've got people in the lineup like Jada Cody, Chloe Evans, but they can't get it done all the time. So Doherty, her experience in the box, her experience out there on the field is going to be crucial for UCF to really turn the corner, which we've seen the last couple of weeks, getting some really big series wins and playing some really good softball.
A count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count to Shannon Doherty. You're in the bottom of the first. Shannon hits a grounder to third. Fielded by Mora. Throw to first in time. To retire Doherty. 2 up, 2 down. I mentioned the Owls, 979 fielding percentage, 7th in the country in fielding percentage. FAU's only made 24 errors. That's 13th best in the country. UCF's only made 23 errors, 9th best in the country. As Jada Cody now will come to the plate with no one on and 2 outs. Knights hitting .321 as a team, ranked 23rd in the country. There's a strike to Cody, 0-1 the count. Of course, these 2 teams well coached defensively. Jen Salling, the 2-time Olympian, leading the defense for UCF in the infield with Becca Mueller coaching the outfield. And Taylor Smart, the associate head coach at FAU, running the defense for the Owls in the infield with Coach Clark, the former outfielder herself, coaching the outfield. As Cody's down in the count here, 0-2 against Trinity. Cody is one of the handful of players that played the last time UCF and FAU played in 2021 in Boca. Played a 3-game set. Knights won them all. The 0-2. It's in the dirt. Ball one. 1-2 now, the count to Cody. Can't believe you didn't remember. He had over 200 career hits.
Eric, there's a lot I don't remember from all of that. I was just trying to go out there and win. I wanted to go to the World Series. That was what I wanted every single year. It was probably consuming my focus.
A ball and 2 strikes. Cody hits one to left. It's carrying, and it's going to be over the head for a base hit. Cody sliding into history with a double, her 51st career double, setting the new standard at UCF. Jada Cody now is the all-time leader in doubles.
And Jada Cody goes down and gets that ball. This one carrying deep to left field. I didn't think it was going to get as much distance at it as it did, but Jada Cody's so strong in the box, easily getting into second base. I love the aggressiveness, too, the tenacity out there, running the bases, really pushing the envelope. Look at the wind as well, working in her favor a little bit towards the left side of the field.
Yeah, went over the head of Kylie Hammonds. That ball took off on her, and that is the 51st career double for Cody, passing Janae Shinhoster for the all-time lead in career doubles. So Jada Cody now the all-time doubles queen at UCF softball with that double. Which, by the way, is the same amount of doubles that you had in your career. You used to hold the record with Jesse Warren, and then it got passed recently. Chloe Evans tries to bunt. Foul. Sydney Sherrill just lapped both of them.
I was going to say, yeah, thanks for the reminder, but Sid Sherrill, she was so legit. So if anybody were to beat it, I'm glad at least Jesse was up there, and then, of course, Sid Sherrill. So can't complain.
But you had the record at 51 doubles, and now Cody's got it at 51 here at UCF.
You know, the one thing I will hang my hat on forever is that I did it with 2 bad knees. So I feel like that's saying something, right?
The 1-1 to Chloe, reaches for it. Foul down the left field. The count is 1-2.
Another player in this UCF offense that I'd love to see get hot is Chloe Evans. She's somebody that's been so clutch throughout her career, only her second season at UCF out here in Orlando, but nonetheless has really kind of made a name for herself. I feel like the fans love her. She's come through in some really clutch moments, some timely at-bats.
And again, Chloe reaches for it, and again, it goes foul to left field. Cody back to second base with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Knights 25-15, FAU 33-11. Knights coming into this game with a 29 RPI, FAU 44. So huge ramifications. They're part of a big week for both sides. 1-2. Cody, Chloe up the middle through, base hit. Coming around to score will be Jada Cody, and the Knights jump out to an early 1-0 lead on the RBI single by Chloe Evans.
Love this piece of hitting here from Chloe Evans. Just going to single up the middle. She's down in the count here, too. A 1-2 count. I love that approach. Doesn't try to overswing. Just nice, short, and compact. Right back up the middle. Jada Cody going to slide in easily to home. First run of the ball game. Talk about setting the tone early, Eric. UCF offense is alive.
30th RBI of the year for Chloe Evans, leads the team. Now, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, the first ever in the UCF program history this year, Ashley Griffin, who's been on fire. Hit 3 home runs over the weekend in the sweep over Houston. Hitting now .306, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. There's her and Sarah Willis sweeping the Big 12 honors. The 0-1 is missed for a ball. 1-1 the count, and Griffin's playing her best softball arguably right now of her career. Chloe Evans at first. 1-1 the count to Griffin. Schlotterbeck. Griffin gets jammed and fouls it off. 1-2 the count.
And I know that it's such a great honor to be named Player of the Week, and of course, other awards and stuff. But talk about the amount of pressure sometimes as athletes that we feel when coming off of that being announced in first ever, right, UCF player to get big at 12 Player of the Week recognition here. I'm sure Ashley Griffin's feeling a little bit of pressure. Comes with the territory.
She'll always be remembered as the first UCF player to win a Big 12 Player of the Week. She takes outside. Runner goes. Chloe. Throw to second is in time. And a throw out as Chloe is thrown out. Good throw by DeLeon. Caitlin DeLeon with the big steal to end the inning. Let's take a look at the last play here.
A tough play. I thought for a second that Chloe Evans might have gotten in, went in head first. Really aggressive slide, and the throw took her up. Not sure if Coach Bob Malone will try to.
Well, I don't think there's any replay in non-conference games here, so can't challenge. So that will do it for the first inning, but not before the. Top of the second, Knights with a 1-0 lead. It'll be Kylie Chanel, the freshman, to lead it off for FAU. Of course, FAU with a long legacy of the late, great Joan Joyce. And for more on the Joyce family, let's go down to our third member of our team, and Hannah Russo. Hannah?
Like you mentioned, the legacy of Coach Joyce still burns throughout FAU. It did not die when she passed away. Her brother Joey actually still hangs out around their plex, and he's always at practices giving advice, asking questions. He wants to work with Coach Clark and wants to make this team better because he wants his sister's legacy to continue to burn and continue to be thought of throughout softball. We know he's at home watching tonight's game. Alex, so what do you think some of his key takeaways are going to be from today's play?
Well, first and foremost, I love how much he loves softball. I feel like it's a familial legacy out there with the Joyce family. So I love to see that Joey is still hanging around. And I love that Coach Clark has taken him in and allowed him to remain so close to this program. But I think he wants to see his offense swing the bat a little bit, find some ways on base.
Well, how about there? Chanel retired on the first pitch on the pop-up. That's a huge out. Chanel, such a magnificent hitter. So one pitch, one out. Now coming to the plate for the Owls will be Cameron Orland, who Coach Clark describes as a key player to this offense. When they're clicking, they feel Orland's kind of an underrated, under-the-radar player that really sets the tone. Of course, homecoming for Cameron, junior from Orlando, played high school here at Olympia. Not too far away from here. Count is 1-1. But you're right, Jordan Clark embracing that tradition and the history, obviously, with the late, great Joan Joyce. Family there in Boca, and they've embraced her. She's brought some passion and energy, and that committee is starting to embrace this program again. This was a proud program that was a contender every year to make the tournament. Haven't made the tournament since 2016 in Gainesville, where ironically FAU's season came to an end. That was Joan Joyce's last regional against Renee Lourdes Gillespie and UCF. UCF beat them twice in that regional. A swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Knights beat the Owls in the first game 1-0. Shelby Turnier with a shutout over Kylie Hansen as you look at that last pitch.
And that pitch from Felton, good location, left a little over the white, but still spinning really well out of the hand, which sometimes makes it tough on the hitter.
2-2. That's fouled back. And then the Knights, in an elimination game, beat FAU in extra innings on a walk-off homer by Jessica Uvari. But that was the last time that the Owls have made the NCAA tournament. To put that in perspective, Jordan Clark was in her first year as a volunteer coach at Arkansas under Courtney Dyfel that year. 2-2. Inside 3-2.
You're such a rain, like you just have so much knowledge. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You just have.
Well, my favorite memory from that 2016 region I was there, when UCF showed up, and who was waiting there on a bucket sitting down to talk to Coach Gillespie? Joan Joyce. There's a pop-up to the back to Felton. As Orland is retired. 2 up, 2 down here in the second inning. But it was that was my first interaction with the legendary Coach Joy from the bucket. So many great memories. They've got a good one now here in Jordan Clark. The Owls are in first place in the American. There's now Trinity at the plate. I mentioned she's a two-way threat. Swings and misses. The count is 0-1. Owls averaging 6 runs a game, 29th in the country.
That's where Felton can find her bread and butter right there, staying up in the zone, going to try to beat the opposing offense, climbing the ladder.
The 0-1 pitch. It's missed for a ball. One of the keys in this game is can the Knights pitchers contain the Owls from their hitting extra bases. The Owls are 5th in the country in doubles with 75. That is a trademark of a Jordan Clark offense. 1-1. That's fouled back. Of course, Jordan Clark came to FAU after spending time as an assistant at Ohio State. Was on the Arkansas staff. There she is right there. Didn't even think about going to coaching. She was a good player in Miami of Ohio, but was actually going to be a teacher. And in fact, gave that up to move with her boyfriend at the time, now husband, Todd, who was on going to the football staff at the time in Arkansas, was going to move there. And she ran into a guy named Tim Walton, Florida head coach, who said, you should be a college coach.
You should really try the coaching thing, huh?
Yeah. He's like, you should be my GA. He's like, I'm not going to leave my boyfriend. And it's like, next thing you know, he called Courtney Deifel and set up, Courtney texted Jordan and says, I want to interview you. And the rest, as they say, is history.
And she loved, too, just a smile on her face when telling that story, probably for many reasons, because everybody at home is always like, don't follow the boys. But, of course, the boy became her husband, so.
Yeah, Ty's probably watching back in Boca. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss and a strikeout by Felton. A dominant. There you see head coach Cindy Ball Malone, her 6th season at UCF. She's coached a little longer than Coach Leverett. Certainly one of the rising stars in the sport, head coaches, and got to be pleased with what she's seen from Caitlin Felton here so far in the early going.
Well, how could you not be? And you talk about queens in the circle right there. Caitlin Felton doing a great job spinning the ball. That one off the plate, helping her cause, trying to get her offense back in the dugout, trying to score a couple more runs.
So Griffin, who was hitting when Chloe Evans was called out at second base, is leading off here at the bottom of the second. Griffin, Humphreys, and Kotzelnick. Against Trinity Schallerbeck. Schallerbeck delivers the ball. Of course, Coach Ball Malone runs the pitching staff. When she came to UCF, ran the offense. She's done both throughout her career, of course, coming over from Boise State. In fact, when she came here to UCF, the Knights had a bit of a drought. The last time they made the tournament was that 2016 Gainesville Regional, ironically enough. As Griffin takes a strike. And she got them into the NCAA tournament in 2021, her second full year. They were on track to make the tournament in 2020. Obviously, we know what happened that year. Everything shut down, but turned this program around. Now trying to make it 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances, which has never been done in the program's history. As Griffin pops through shallow right, as the catch is made by Cameron Orland to retire Griffin for the first out. Sierra Humphreys will come to the plate. You've seen Coach Ball Malone taking this program to a different level here throughout her time. What has really impressed you about Coach Ball Malone and what she's done here?
I think the biggest thing for any new head coach coming in, and I hear it time and time again with all the different coaches I get to meet throughout the spring season, is the culture that they build, whether it's kind of trying to piggyback off the last culture and sort of make it their own to be their program right through and through. But it really is, it's all about who you surround yourself with at the top, with the leadership that you bring in with your coaching staff. And then it's all about getting the kids to buy in to whatever that culture is going to be. And that's so much of the identity, and so much of great teams find success in just being themselves. And I think that that's what I've loved to watch too unfold with Coach Ball Malone. Is she's such a competitor at heart because she loves the game of softball and being a player herself, but she's taken that love for the game into her coaching style and the way she's running her program.
She's a 2-time All-American two-way player at Pacific, played under Brian Cozy. And of course got turned around Boise State and certainly has led UCF to places they haven't been to before, like winning a regional after hosting a regional, like they did in 2022. 3 straight 40-win seasons coming into this year, and playing in this difficult conference. UCF, some concerns with the slow start in conference, but they've turned it around, winning 8 of their last 9, and they're 10-8 in the Big 12, 5th place coming into this weekend. They're going to be at Baylor for a huge series. As the 1-2 to Humphreys, it's inside, 2-2. But that's part of it. It's like there's an even playing field. UCF, by the way, has played the 10th toughest schedule in the country. That has become a trademark of Coach Ball Malone since her time here.
I think she's no stranger to exposing her team to great talent. We heard Coach Clark say it as well. To be the best, you've got to beat the best.
Humphreys pops it up to left as the catch is made by Hammonds for the second out here in the second inning. 2 gone. Of course, Tim Walton, good friend of Coach Ball Malone. Interestingly, both of these head coaches were hired by White ADs in the family, the White family. Danny White hired Cindy Ball Malone here at UCF, whereas his brother, Brian White, hired Jordan Clark at FAU. Of course, 1-0 the count. Of course, someone that helped in the hire for UCF, Brandy Stewart, who you know very well, former Seminole great.
I love it. I say it all the time, but the worlds of baseball and softball both are just so interconnected. The sports world as a whole, athletics, collegiate athletics at that. Talk about life is 6 degrees of separation. College athletics is about 2.
Kotzelnick swings and misses there. Is Stormy at the plate. 1-1 the count to Kotzelnick.
And that pitch just a little up in the zone. That's the pitch that Coach Clark wants to see Schlotterbeck get down a little, because if left up too much, somebody's going to take advantage.
Pitch has missed ball 2, 2-1 the count. But I know Tim Walton spoke highly of her during that process and said, this is your person right here. And I know Lonnie Alameda as well. Both of these head coaches have great mentors. They're 2 of the top names in the head coaching industry right now that many believe will be at the top of this profession for the next decade, as that ball is caught by Hammonds as Kotzelnick is retired. We are through 6 top 50 RPI wins. KPI, which is a system that the committee will use this year, they're at 36. That's a very good number. The concern is the schedule strength. 117 overall, non-conference 132. So that would put them right on the bubble. The good news is they're on top of the conference. You win the league. If you win the conference tournament, you don't have to worry about that. But she's had some bad luck with the scheduling. Some teams that they thought was going to be really good have not had the year that people thought. That kind of happens. But they have some marquee wins. They won a series at Charlotte. They've won a series at Wichita State. They have a win against Louisville. Those are some of their marquee wins. It's Caitlin DeLeon at the plate here against Felton. The count 0-1. She hits it foul to the right field and out of play. It was interesting to hear her, though, talk about how she felt they played with a little pressure, a little uptight maybe in Denton against North Texas, maybe thinking too much about the standings. And she wants her players to play loose and say, we're the underdog here, and don't focus about the standings. I thought that was interesting to hear her talk about that.
Easier said than done, too, though. I think it's always in the back of people's mind, and that's what I mean. Even earlier when I talked about Ashley Griffin getting the Big 12 Player of the Week recognition, it's just kind of like you feel like you have to perform. It's like, oh, I got recognized of being so good last weekend or whenever it was, right? But now I need to show everybody why I was so good and kind of just continue to put on the show, right? But it's not about that. It's about the body of work, and FAU is sitting in a really good spot with what they've been able to do so far this season, but it's like a roller coaster. You just want to kind of stay nice and easy. You ebb in the flow. You don't ever want to get too high and too excited, but you never want to fall too low and kind of crash and burn. So just trying to stay the course. Stick to the process, right? We hear it all the time, but so much easier said than done.
1-2 from Felton. Swing and a miss. And Caitlin Felton is locked in right now as she opens the third inning with a strikeout of DeLeon for the first out.
And Felton's fired up. This one just going off the plate, out of the zone, but looks good enough out of the hand. DeLeon is going to swing right through that one, but Felton, all the passion out there in the circle.
Second strikeout of the ball game. Now Zoe Jones takes the ball. Zoe, senior of Delaware. One of a handful of players on this Owls team that played for Joan Joyce and is playing now for Jordan Clark. 1-0. Foul back. Of course, you look at the Owls schedule. They got UTSA this weekend at home. Van Studerman in her first year there. And then a huge last couple of weeks, 2 weekends from now. FAU will be in Tampa, Florida against Ken Erickson in South Florida. And they will end the regular season against Tulsa, who's currently in second place in the American. The American right now is rated the number 6 conference in college softball, according to the RPI. There's a strike, 1-2 to count. The conference tournament this year for the American will be in Wichita. All 10 teams make the field. Top 2 get a double bye. So it's really critical you get a top 2 seed, finish in the top 2 standings in the American. 1-2. That's outside. 2-2 the count. It's good for the game, though, just to hear FAU and postseason talk once again. That used to be a given back in the day there with Coach Joyce.
Absolutely. I feel like FAU has always had some really great players come through their program. Just a matter of getting to the big stage. Experience is such a big factor. We see it across collegiate athletics as a whole. Doesn't matter the sport. You know, it's so tough to beat really good teams if you've never been on that stage. I don't know if you watch college baseball much, but I got to see it last night in that Texas Tech Arkansas game.
Wild.
And, you know, Arkansas, number 2 team in the country.
The grounder deep in the hole to short. Williams to first in time for the second out of the inning. As Jones is retired. 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Kylie Hammonds to the plate. Well, it was interesting. I talked to some of the local media down in South Florida there about FAU, and they said about Jordan, they compared her to Dusty May, which is a high compliment. Dusty May, of course, was the FAU basketball head coach, led him to the Final Four. He's now at Michigan. He just left after this year. But Dusty May put FAU basketball on the map, and I think Jordan Clark is putting FAU softball back on the map. Hammonds here at the plate.
I couldn't agree more.
0-1 the count. That's a grounder to short. Williams is there. Throw to first. Caitlin Feldner's putting herself on the map. And she gets another 1-2-3. Who's on top of CUSA. Those are some of their marquee victories. But a great RPI of 29. That's usually a 2-seed, 3-seed line in the tournament. There's Aubrey Evans at the plate. Takes a ball, 2-0 the count.
And UCF is consistently that team to me that will just come into somebody's regional and just absolutely ruin your day because they're just such a tough 2 seed when they do get that slot. Typically across the Southeast region, I should say. I feel like they were always in our region in Tallahassee. It was not fun.
Popped up to short. Chanel makes the catch. And Aubrey Evans is retired for the first out here in the 3rd inning. That'll ring up. Jasmine Williams to the plate. Of course, the Knights still can add to the resume. You got this game today. They go to Waco against Baylor, who's in the top 25 RPI. And then a week from this Friday, the Oklahoma Sooners, 3-time defending national champions, will be here at the Plex in front of 3 sellouts, Sooners and Knights. So the Knights can improve the resume there. And then, of course, they go to Iowa State and then the Big 12 tournament in Oklahoma City, where the top 6 teams get into a bye to the quarterfinals. UCF will get to play at the Hall of Fame Stadium, home of the World Series, where it's also the home of the Big 12 tournament. Williams grounds to short. Chanel is there. Throw to first in time. Both pitchers right now in a good rhythm. Felton for the Knights and Trinity Schwadenbach for the Owls. Janisha Rowe will come to the plate here with 2 outs in the 3rd. Rowe grounded out in her first at-bat. Hitting here with no one on, 2 out. Takes for a ball, 1-0 the count. The 1-0 to Rowe coming here. In front of a good crowd here. Another strong, big packed crowd here for a midweek. UCF in the top 30 in attendance this year, as well as in capacity. And will likely have their 2nd or 3rd best attended season in program history. 2022 was certainly the benchmark. Here's a bunt foul. And it's 1-2 to Rowe.
And let's take a look at what Janisha Rowe did in her first at-bat. Somebody that puts the ball on the ground so well and has so much speed down the line. So this one getting good ground and getting good air on that ground ball. But Schlotterbeck in the circle, able to field her position so effectively, quick on the transfer as well, I feel like is what really made the difference there for a really speedy row.
Ball and 2 strikes. Rowe gets jammed, grounds to the right side, and the play is made. Is Orland making the play to end the inning? Knights go down in order here in the third. We are through 3. So with us, we're hoping to be joined by Jordan Clark. She was talking to some of her players during the break, so she's a little behind. We'll see if we get her or not. Let's see, is she going? Or is she going to stay in the box? Oh, she's going. She keeps going. And let's see. Nope, stay in the box. You see, look at Felton's box score. And so Cameron Jackson to lead it off. Takes a low for a ball. 1-0 the count to Jackson. Yeah, these two teams like to work quick, don't they?
They do.
They don't
I
waste
was going to
time.
say, I mean, man, it's like they're rocking and rolling, I think, more than anything right now. Caitlin Felton just absolutely dealing, but so on the other side is Slaughterback.
1-0. That is hit to second. What a backhand play by Aubrey Evans. Throws to first in time to retire Jackson for the first out. You're the fourth. What a play.
Aubrey Evans, good piece of hitting here from Jackson, but Aubrey Evans with the backhanded pick. I love the glove work there. Makes it look so smooth and easy. Another routine-looking kind of play.
In fact, Jordan Clark went over to Coach Ballman and said, what a play that was. Game-respecting game there. Right, that's one of those you tip your cap.
Eric, hot take over here. I don't know if it's really just really good pitch efficiency in the circle from both sides, Felton and Schlotterback, or the fact that we don't, in fact, have replay that's making this game so quick. Ooh,
hot take.
I know, hot
Alex
take.
Powers, wow.
How dare I?
Liebrick at the play. I thought you saved your hot takes for your podcast. Really,
No.
you're bringing it over to the broadcast.
Any chance I can to get some controversial topics out there. No, I'm just kidding.
Outside of one play, we haven't had to need it, to be honest.
No, we haven't.
It's been both pitchers in a good rhythm right now. Felton quick work ahead 0-2.
And I like this approach from Felton, but if I'm an FAU hitter right now, I have that in the back of my mind that Felton is attacking the strike zone, so I'm ready from the very first pitch of my at-bat because it might be the best one I see.
Pitch outside, 1-2 the count. The Liebrick here in the top of the fourth inning. Caitlin Felton pitched the shutout on Saturday against Houston. Got 2 wins against BYU the previous weekend. Got a win as a starter and then as a reliever in that Saturday finale against BYU where the Knights won it in 8 innings. There's the BYU team that upset Oklahoma last Friday night. It was a big story in college softball.
Nobody is safe.
And 2's missed 2-2, but we thought BYU, we saw them. We knew they could hit it. Boy, they hit there, but the Big 12, of course, the number 2 conference in college softball according to the RPI, only behind the SEC. You have OU, the 1-game lead over Texas in the Big 12 standings. Oklahoma State in third, 2-2. That's missed high. UCF's 5th. But keep in mind, if they finish in a tie with Kansas, they have the tiebreaker because they beat the Jayhawks head-to-head 2 out of 3. Right now, Kansas is at 4th place, UCF's 5th. Kansas still has to play Oklahoma State and Texas. In fact, Kansas is hosting Texas this weekend. The payoff pitch. And the first base runner of the ball game for the Owls comes here in the 4th via the walk by Presley Liebrick. And boy, they got excited over there for the Owls, trying to get some momentum going.
Shall I say the dugout was hooting and hollering?
Wow. I think Coach Clark clearly influenced you in the conference call.
Good stuff. We love a good pun.
Mora at the plate. Ball 1. And you're seeing much more discipline, more patience from the Owls here in this second time around against Felton.
Well, Presley Liebrick was somebody that exactly, I think, is the exact replication of that patience in the box, really good plate discipline is how Coach Clark coined her. So if anybody's going to get the tone set and have a good, patient AB, it's going to be Liebrick.
Griffin's going to have a word here with Felton. As for the first time, Felton a little off of rhythm here. Had retired 10 straight Owls prior to the walk to Liebrick. Here you see Coach Ball Malone with Cassidy Brewer to her left. Former Knight player, played from 2016 to 2019. In fact, was on that Knights team in 2016 that beat FAU in that Gainesville Regional. That was Cassidy's freshman year.
And let's take a look a little bit about what we see here from Felton. I think just trying to overthrow, trying to be too dominant in the circle. It's definitely a thing. Just let your pitches work, let your defense work behind you.
And right now, she's falling behind 3-0 to Mora.
So if I'm Griffin behind the dish, I'm just trying to keep Felton settled down, saying, hey, you've done a great job attacking the zone. Stay there. Infield's going to make some plays behind you. Outfield's also got your back.
3-0 pitch. That's ball 4, and it's a walk. Back-to-back walks allowed for Felton, and it's 2 on, 1 out for FAU here in the 4th. And Kylie Chanel will come to the plate. The freshman phenom stepping in the top 5 in the nation in doubles with 18 this year. 5 away from the school record is Chanel. Takes a strike. Of course, her cousin, Savannah Chanel, is the shortstop for North Florida. We saw them a couple weeks ago here when they played UCF. And is the stepsister of Arkansas's Rylan Hedgecock. Part of a big softball family. The 0-1 to Chanel. Fouled off there to 0-2.
It's a really tough spot to walk your 2 and 3 hole hitters here for Felton and then go right after your 4 hole with a couple of ducks on the pond. But I like her tenacity in the circle, quickly getting 0-2 to get Chanel chasing some pitches. Let's see how she can continue to expand the strike zone.
0-2 went up and in, 1-2. Kylie Chanel hitting here. With Liebrick at second, Mora at first. 1-2. Swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Felton as she gets Chanel for the second out here in the 4th. Big strikeout for Felton.
This is a big pitch for Felton. Just going to spin that one on the inside corner there. Big strikeout, getting Chanel to swing right through that pitch. Taking a little velo off as well, a little lower miles per hour out of the hand of Felton. That change in speed can be really difficult as a hitter to try to adjust.
Orland now at the plate. Takes ball 1. They appeal to third base. No, nothing doing. Carlos Guzman is your home plate umpire. William Lopez at first base with Christopher Wirt over at third. Orland at the plate. Takes inside 2-0. And Felton, for the first time this inning, after really being smooth and getting ahead of hitters in the first 3 innings, has been falling behind the hitters in this inning. It's resulted in a couple of walks. She's down 2-0 here to Orland. The local kid fouls it off. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, Eric, if you look back at the first 3 innings of work, you had Felton just topping in the upper 30s, averaging about 12 to 13 pitches an inning, and right now in this inning alone, getting nearly 20.
Orland talking to Jordan Clark. You wonder when it's a homecoming, like it is for Cameron Orland, played at Olympia High School. Do you add extra pressure? I'm sure there's family and friends in attendance seeing her play here.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of family and friends in the stands. I know a local high school was coming out here.
There's a lot of people
girls,
here, period. Let's just make that clear. It is. There's not many seats to be found, if any. Here's a ground ball to short. Williams throws to first in time to retire Orland in the out with our very own Hannah Russo. Hannah?
Coach, you jumped out to a lead early in the first. How do you set the tone?
They just got on and 2-out hitting. I loved it. Just as far as what they do, they stick to their plan and they're pretty aggressive. And you got 2 vets up there with Chloe and Jada.
What have you seen from Caitlin Felton so far?
Yeah, just really pitching her game, getting ahead. I know we had 2 walks in that inning, but she's settling in real nice and moving her pitches really nicely.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Hannah. Thanks to Coach Ball Malone. I don't know if you've noticed, Alex, we got 2 teams here that got some personality in their dugout.
Hey, they're out there having a good time. Who can complain? But I like what Coach Ball Malone talked about with Hannah was 2 out hitting. I feel like it's so big because you can never just roll over and quit. Even when you're feeling like you're ahead, 2 outs with a couple of big leadoffs for UCF getting out early in that bottom of the first. But then Jada Cody setting the tone with that big career setting double.
51st of her career.
51th. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
same number as you have.
Yeah.
So she's tied with you now all time. I don't know where that means in the history of softball, but you're both tied.
She's going to be better than me, yeah. So.
Shannon Doherty at the plate with a ball and a strike to count. It'll be Doherty, Cody, and Chloe Evans here in the 4th. Knights 1-0 lead. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for UCF. FAU with no runs, no hits, no errors. As that ball's hit foul as Mora fields the play. And the count is 1-2.
I just don't think you caught my joke. I was giving you a hard time about making up numbers because I make up words all the time. I make up phrases all the time.
These 2 teams are working too fast,
Yeah.
Alex. I can't,
Hey, touche.
They're going fast pace here.
It's good stuff.
A ball and 2 strikes. Doherty lines it foul. In fact, we haven't even hit the 1 hour mark yet, and we're already in the bottom of the 4th.
That's crazy. You know what they say, for every hard hit ball somewhere, a blooper will fall in. I feel like that's our karma on this side is for every really long, over 3 hour softball game, then we get a quick one. But hey, we'll see. Who's to say it's going to continue?
A ball and 2 strikes to Doherty. It's a right to Mora. Mora will throw to first in time to retire Doherty for the first out here at the bottom of the 4th. And both pitchers right now, Alex, doing a good job keeping the ball down and getting ground ball outs.
It's painting locations and it's changing speeds right now is going to be the success on both sides of the field. Schlotterbeck on that one, getting Shannon Doherty to ground out on a firm ball. But the thing is, it was off the plate. So when you are ahead as a hitter and you kind of get around pitches that are off the plate, you know that discipline-wise, you're trying to let the ball travel deeper in the zone. But just really good job by Schlotterbeck painting some locations and being really efficient with her pitch count.
Jada Cody at the plate, doubled back in the 1st with 2 outs and scored on a Chloe Evans single up the middle. That's it. That's the difference right now in the game. Cody couldn't hold her swing that time. And Trinity ahead 0-2 on Cody.
This is what I'm talking about with Schlotterbeck being so good. That one, changeup just falling off the table there. The low velo mixed with a nice firm drop ball. Going to be a tough combo as a hitter. Trying to see both up deep in the zone.
2 missed outside. Ball 1-2 to count. You see Cody, that double in the 1st, her 51st of her career, now the all-time leader in UCF softball history. Passing Janae Shinhoster, who had many legendary battles against FAU, so very fitting. Cody would break her record against the Owls. That hit foul. Of course, the Knights and Owls played for the A-Sun championship games a couple times during that 02-05 run, with the Knights winning in their last year in the A-Sun in 05 in Boca Raton, Florida. Lindsay Enders, the tournament MVP, Stephanie Best, Janae Shinhoster and company, winning their first ever conference championship, going to the Gainesville Regional that year in 05. 1-2. Away, 2-2. 2-2 the count to Cody.
Look at Schlotterbeck trying to expand that strike zone as well. I like her painting those corners off the plate down in the zone to Jada Cody, who we know is a phenomenal hitter. Trying to see just how far she'll chase. Trying to test her plate discipline in the box.
Cody pops it up. Second base, Orland. Near the grass area, makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Here in the 4th. Here we go, Chloe Evans. Both pitchers. Of course, we heard from Coach Ball Malone. Today, it's her son's birthday, Kaysen. It's his 4th birthday. 4 years old today he's now. Which blows my mind away. I feel like only yesterday that kid was born. Chloe Evans at the plate. Tries a bunt. Bunts a foul. In fact, Coach Bo Malone had Kaysen on the field for the pregame ceremonies. That's certainly a big part of Coach Bo Malone, having the family involved while she's coaching. The kids are usually around in the postgame, sometimes in the pregame, balancing being a mom and being a head coach. There's her 3 sons out there with Bobby, her husband, who's the unsung hero because he's dealing with all 3 of them the whole time while they're asking for mom. And I'm like, well, mom's busy working, coaching right now.
I think Coach Bob Malone would absolutely support the statement that, Bobby, if you are listening out there, we know you're the MVP, so keep doing your thing, big guy.
1-1. Chloe hits a fly ball to left, but playable. Hammonds is there, makes the catch to retire the side.
Pretty girl, the light eyes. Yeah, I love it. We love the floofs. Give us all the floofs up here. All the pooch picks, all the floofs.
Floofs? Is that what you just said? Is that a new? Wow, I've never heard that term.
I don't know if it's a word, but it's an Alex word, so.
Hey,
it's a word used to describe our furry friends. I call my dogs floofs all the time.
Trinity Schwadeback to lead it off for the Owls here in the 5th. 0-1 the count against Felton. Inside, called the ball. 1-1 the count. It is packed here. Only a handful of seats, and there's some people even hanging out in the outfield in the right field bleachers, as well as left field. Look at this stands there on this Wednesday.
Think about it, too. So much of it's probably a homecoming.
Popped up to short. Williams near the grass makes the catch as Trinity is retired. The first out here in the 5th. Well, you're right. A lot of friends, right? Family members. In-state matchup, big game. A lot of postseason ramifications. 2 teams looking to make the NCAA tournament. FAU trying to win the American Athletic Conference title in their first year. Top 50 RPI matchup. Somebody's going to get a valuable top 50 RPI win at the end of this game. That's a ball. 1-0 the count. Okay. Caitlin DeLeon. 1-0 from Felton. That's foul to the right side. You played in many of these in-state matchups in the midweeks when there's a lot of energy, right, in the stands. What's it like?
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of times these athletes know each other one way or another, right? There's some kind of common bond that brings them together. Obviously, FAU, just a couple hours up the road, you've got to imagine that some of these girls played travel ball either with or against each other.
Line to short right to Williams. Well hit by DeLeon, but Williams was right there in position for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. And it's an old school game.
Good piece of hitting here by DeLeon. Going to be hit sharply right at Jazz Williams. Again, just perfect positioning there for Williams up the middle. But you see these FAU hitters slowly starting to come around on Felton, putting some good barrel on balls, just right at defensive players.
That's line foul down to third base by Zoe Jones. Of course, talking to both head coaches, the sense is they're both going to try to play every year. They both don't duck people. It's a good, friendly matchup. And if you can get a quality game in the state, busing, that's the advantage of being here in the state of Florida.
Couldn't agree more. And just, again, having a midweek matchup like this, it's really anybody's game right now.
That is popped up in the infield. Williams, busy inning for her, makes the catch, side retired. Caitlin Felton works a one.
Stands watching some good softball. Gabby Sacco is from the area for FAU. So, again, a lot of good stuff here. Good softball, good exposure. We talked about how packed it is in the stands. Nice little homecoming.
Softball's exploded here in this community. You know that. You used to call high school softball championships here and cover the scene here.
It's a really big stage now, too. So just, again, it's all about the visibility, and I think that's something that's grown the most in the last couple of years specifically.
Ashley Griffin to lead it off for the Knights. Takes a ball, 1-0 the count. Griffin, Humphreys, Kotzelnick. Trying to get something going against Trinity in this pitcher's duel. Again, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Knights. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Owls. Griffin muscles one into left, and that will drop in for a hit. A leadoff single for Griffin. A diving attempt by Jackson. Great effort But Griffin continues her stellar play, leads it off here with a single.
Ashley Griffin just finding a way on base. That one going to fall right into shallow center field, but does just enough to find a hole. UCF would really love to push another run across the board right now. Sitting in a little too close for comfort territory with only the 1-run lead. They want to get some people in motion.
It's funny, Coach Paul Malone agrees with you, making a move here to pinch run for Griffin. Sierra Humphreys to come to the plate. Samantha Del Hoyo pinch running. Her friends call her Sammy. I don't know if I'm qualified to call her a friend yet and without her blessing or the family's blessing. So for now, I'll call her Samantha. Of course, freshman with Humphreys. Part of this freshman class for the Knights that's rated 16th best in the country. According to Extra Innings Softball, the third straight top 25 recruiting class that Coach Paul Malone has brought, which has been a big difference maker for UCF. She was recruiting well prior to the Big 12 and now into the Big 12.
It's really good stuff, and I feel like if you are coming on to this UCF roster, you are coming to play some of the best softball that you can.
A bunt attempt for Humphreys. And that is foul. Humphreys certainly a big piece of that. It's been magnificent. Having a great freshman season for Humphreys. 382 coming into the ball game. 2 homers and 24 RBIs. But it's down in the count here, 0-2. With Del Hoyo at first. Outside, ball 1. And this has been a game where, as an offense, anything you're getting right now, you're going to have to earn it.
Well, absolutely. Just trying to chip away right now because they've got some really good stuff in the circle from Schlotterbeck. She's done a great job settling in ever since the first inning. Left just a couple too far over the white.
That ball's grounded to short. Chanel will flip to second for one. They'll throw to first. Not handled there, and it would not have beaten out Humphreys anyway. Humphreys beat it out. So it's a fielder's choice, but the Owls do get the lead runner out for the first out here in the 5th.
And Chanel, just nice firm ground ball from Humphreys, almost like that perfect double play ball. Chanel going to flip over to Orland, but the throw from Orland getting away. A little errant out of the hand, but also good hustle down the line from Humphreys. A lot of speed under her feet, too, so going to be tough to make the double play.
Kotzelnick takes the strike, 0-1 the count. Both pitchers have pitched magnificent, but we've also seen why both of these defenses are in the top 10 in the country in fielding percentage.
Yeah, they make the routine plays, and I think as a coach right now, that's all you can ask for. The flashy stuff will come, the great plays will come, but just more than anything, you want to make the routine ones.
Swing and a miss. Trinity right now, maybe having her best outing of the year. Was a huge addition. Of course, was really the co-ace at Maryland. And it's been a big arsenal weapon here in the circle for the Owls. It is ahead 0-2 on Kotzelnick. Going away, ball 1. What's been your thoughts on Trinity here?
I think she's doing a great job expanding the strike zone, so she gets ahead early against these UCF hitters, and then she does a great job expanding the zone, getting them to swing at junk that's over the plate, but maybe really far down and low shin and feet height. And then she's going to widen the zone east to west and keep that ball up so it looks good out of the hand. She's going to be off the plate. So I like the combinations that she's working up and down and then left and right.
So as a hitter, what do you do?
You try to pick a pitch over the middle of the plate as much as you can, right? But that's going to be the aggressiveness early in the box.
That is high, and it's full. 3-2 to count, a rare full count for Trinity here against Stormy Kotzelnick. They're in the bottom of the 5th. Knights with a 1-0 lead. Runner at first and 1 out. Full count. That's fouled away. Kotzelnick trying to work the count, trying to get something going for the Knights offensively. Scored 1 in the first, and that has been it. In fact, prior to this Griffin hit in this inning, the Knights had not gotten a hit since that Chloe Evans RBI single back in the first. And again, Kotzelnick fouls it off.
Love to see Stormy Kotzelnick come through right now with a big AB. Somebody that's come through a lot in the last couple of weeks with some really timely hits. Put the UCF offense in some really good positions late in ball games.
She hits a high fly ball to right. Coming in, making the catch is Liebrick for the second out of the inning. That is the second out of the inning, with Aubrey Evans will come to the plate. And a big out for the Owls. They're getting Kotzelnick. Of course, the Owls, you mentioned Gabby Sacco, Jayden Martinez. They've got a good 1-2-3 rotation. Lambert, who's a great reliever for them. Both teams feel good about their depth, especially the Knights do. What's interesting, I think, in talking to both sides, I think both sides thought maybe this is one of those games you throw multiple pitchers midweek. Right. But both pitchers have been so good right now that there's been no reason. Just keep them in.
I couldn't agree more, and I think the question right now would be, how do you take them out, right? Let them finish the game. It's their game.
Aubrey Evans with a 1-1 count. With Humphreys at first base, but 2 outs in the inning. A 1-1 pitch. Missed for a ball. 2-1 the count.
And both sides really struggling to string some good at-bats together. It's really tough. We've talked about it before, Eric. It's really tough to have 3 or 4 good at-bats, whether they're all singles, right, or a couple of free passes with some walks, hit by pitches, things like that.
Evans grounded to second. Orland is there. Will throw to first to retire the side. Knights get for more on the Knights. Let's go down to Hannah Russo. Hannah?
Eric, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, talking about Coach Bear and her son, Kason, with it being his birthday today. That mother-son bond is actually something that helped her form a relationship with shortstop Jazz Williams during her recruiting process. Jazz was a new mother. She just had her son, and that was something that they could bond over. They could share their experiences and talk through what they were both struggling with at the time. Coach said Jazz is someone that really inspires her when it comes to motherhood because she's doing it all on someone's schedule. So when she's having a bad day, she just turns to Jazz and knows that she's going to get it done.
Thanks, Hannah. That's pretty good advice. Jazz Williams, new catcher for the Knights, Jada Cody. Remember, started the game at DP, now sliding into the catching role here late in the ball game, the top of the 6th. It's Caitlin Felton to face Kylie Hammonds. Takes a strike. Hammonds, Jackson, Liebrick, 9-1-2 to schedule a hit for the Owls. In the ballgame, De Hoya, who pinch run for Griffin, stays in the game and is in left field. Taking over for Kotzelnick, who moves to the DP spot. The 0-1. It's missed for a ball. 1-1 the count.
I don't think it's surprising that we're seeing some late ballgame defensive changes here for UCF. We've seen that a lot, especially with a 1-run game right now. They've got to put your best defense out there. Trying to cover as much ground in the outfield as possible. Infield is still looking solid.
1-1. That's a high chopper. Humphreys will have no play, and the Owls get their first hit. It's an infield hit by Kylie Hammonds to lead off the Owls' 6th inning.
Kylie Hammonds making the adjustments. Doesn't always have to be the power game either. That one just getting enough air underneath that ground ball. Sierra Humphrey's going to try and drop step back, but just too much time and too much lift on that ground ball, which is almost an oxymoron, too much lift on a ground ball, but utilizing the hard dirt infield here.
Well, that's huge because she gets on with the top of the order now at the plate coming for the Owls with Jackson. Shows bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1. So 1-0 the count. So Hammonds delivering that infield chop slap hit. First hit of the game. So Felton, 5 no-hit innings. Broken up here in the 6th. 1-0 the count to Jack. Takes a strike there, and it's 1-1.
Well, you saw Hammonds making the adjustments and finding her way on base, but look at the hustle down the line, and then look at the slide into first. I mean, there was just this moment of time, I feel like, that was going through her head. She was like, I don't care what happens, nothing is going to stop me from reaching first base safely.
1-1, bunt attempt by Jackson. She gets it down. Humphreys fields, throws to first. Aubrey Evans covering the bag. Gets the play. But the sacrifice bunt by Jackson advancing Hammonds to second in scoring position with 1 out.
Good sacrifice bunt from Jackson, but look at that play from Sierra Humphreys. Her and Jada Cody are going to kind of have a little bit of contact right there slightly, but Humphreys doing a great job releasing that ball in perfect positioning, not to cross up second baseman Aubrey Evans with the base runner there.
Aubrey Evans there covering. So you got a great play by her too, but a nice play by Humphreys. That's why they trust her at third.
That was really good stuff. So much athleticism, and thanks for clarifying. Of course, I was just like, oh man, I was thinking it was Evans that was covering because I was so focused on Humphreys and Cody on the play.
Liebrick at the plate. Takes outside, is ahead 2-0. So Coach Clark going to the small ball there, sacrificing Jackson with Liebrick now with a runner in scoring position here in the 6th. There is action in the Knights bullpen with Liebrick, who's 0 for 1 with a walk today. 2-0. That is missed. It's 3-0. With the heart of the order coming up for the Owls. There you see Caitlin Cochran warming up in the bullpen for the Knights. The 3-0. That's outside, ball 4. A walk to Liebrick. Second time in the ball game, Liebrick's drawn a walk. It's first and second and 1 out. With Mora coming to the plate, but not before Coach Clark calls their teammates or players to huddle here. Big moment in this ball game right here. What have you seen here from Felton?
Well, Felton is still doing a good job just keeping balls around the zone. I think more than anything right now, it's FAU having made the slow adjustments. It's taken them all the way to the 6th to make those adjustments, but still finding their way on base. Better late than never, I think. And so if I'm Felton, I'm still trying to do my thing. I'm trying to let my defense work behind me, make the plays. But you don't want to give up the free passes, too. And you've seen a couple of walks here today, 3 so far, 2 being to Liebrick in the 2-hole. So it's a big spot in the lineup for FAU.
With Mora at the plate, 2 on, 1 out in the 6th. First pitch from Felton is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Mora, the sophomore from Apopka, Florida. The 0-1 from Felton. Hit to Aubrey, who flips to second for 1. Williams will have no throw, will hold it. They do get the out at second. It's first and third, 2 outs here in the 6th.
Really good heads-up play from Aubrey Evans. Look at the backhand and all the confidence in that play, too. Jazz Williams wasn't shaded up the middle. She was playing more straight up, so it took her just a couple extra steps to get to the bag, ultimately hindering their chance to turn the double play. I almost wonder if Evans should have tried to take it herself. Not sure if there would have been enough time either way.
Chanel at the plate. First pitch, swung on, fouled it back. 0-1 the count. So first and third. Hammonds at third. Liebrick at first. 2 outs here in the 6th. With Chanel at the plate. Down in the count, 0-1. And again fouled off, and it's 0-2. Off the foot for Chanel. She's still limping here. It's going to walk towards Coach Clark. We'll walk it off.
That never feels good. Right on the inside part of the foot.
You see Chanel has popped up and struck out in this game. 0-2. Fouled away to the right side off the net. There are 2 teams that want to play big games in May. This feels like a game in May.
It does feel like a game in May, just a back-and-forth pitcher's duel, which hasn't necessarily been the case across the country in softball as of late. It's such a hitter's game right now.
0-2. Outside, ball 1. 1-2 the count to Chanel.
Look at Felton painting this pitch off the plate. I think it's the right call, but a great 0-2 pitch there. Trying to work the eyes of the hitter, Chanel, see how good her plate discipline is. Challenge her outside of the zone.
Got her! Felton with the strikeout to end the 6th and end the Owls' threat. What a pitch for Caitlin. Bottom of the 6th. Knights with a 1-run lead. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for UCF. No runs a hit, no errors for FAU. Jazz Williams to lead it off for the Knights. She'll be followed by Janisha Rowe and Shannon Doherty, 9-1-2. Now you look at the D1 softball, came out with their projections earlier today, and look at this, Alex. UCF and FAU projected to perhaps play again in the Gainesville Regional with Florida, the national host. There's a ground ball to short. Chanel will throw to first to retire Williams for the first out of this.
Who's going to be with them?
That's
Hey,
great.
I'd rather that regional happen in Gainesville than I would in Tallahassee. That's all I'm going to say.
does Rowe at the plate, 0-1 the count. Of course, you can check that out on d1softball.com with the latest projections. That came out today. So did the D1 baseball projections. 0-1 from Rose, fouled off. Of course, we mentioned Florida hosting. We want to send our congratulations to our good friend Francesca, who found out today she's being honored in their alma mater's Hall of Fame. I know we're both very happy for her.
So cool. And talk about really just the body of work and what an accomplishment that is.
0-2 the count. She'll be inducted in October. Rowe grounds it to the right side. As Orlin is there, we'll throw for the ground out for the out. 2 outs. And, of course, with Fran now in the Hall of Fame, the countdown for me is on now, and when you're getting inducted to the Florida State Hall of Fame. Now, it's up to you.
I don't even know all the Florida State athletes that have been in the Hall of Fame. I feel like it's just, I don't know. I'm like, I do see it for all the other schools. I'm like, Florida State, where are we at? No, there's some really great players to come through all these programs.
Shannon Doherty at the plate, hitting with no one on, 2 outs here in the 6th. Takes ball 1. I mentioned D1Baseball.com had their projections today. UCF is projected to be in the Tallahassee Regional with Florida State hosting. I think you're familiar with a little baseball there.
A little.
A ball and no strikes. Doherty rips a base hit into left field. That is career hit number 201 for Shannon Doherty, which moves her past Amber Lamb for 11th place all-time at UCF.
Shannon Doherty taking this pitch up in the zone. Absolutely drive a missile out there to left field. Hammond's going to field it cleanly, but coming in quickly as well. Really good piece of hitting from Doherty.
Amber Lamb played here from 04 to 07, lives now in that Tampa region. It's Doherty moving up the depth chart. There it hits. Here's Cody, who had her 250th career hit back in the 1st, which was her 51st career double, which broke the school record. She's 3rd all-time in base hits. Scored the only run of the game on a Chloe Evans single. She's down in the count here, 0-2. D1 baseball, by the way, had Florida State as a national host, top 5 national seed. Georgia is a 2, UCF's a 3. Of course, Rich Wallace, that would reunite him in Tallahassee, where he spent a year last year as the assistant to Link Jarrett as the associate head coach.
I would love that matchup overall. I think that
They're your
that's
2 friends now.
just such quality baseball. Yeah,
You got to spend some time with Rich earlier today. You're going to make your UCF baseball broadcast debut Friday night with Mark Daniels, UCF in Central Michigan.
Looking forward to it. Wish you were there.
I'm jealous. 1-2. Cody smokes one to left, but Hammonds got a good read on that. Makes a great play. Top of the 7th. More push picks here, Alex, here late in the game. Here. Down the stretch.
Well, these are my good friends, Willow and Gunner, courtesy of Avery Howe. Thank you, Avery, for sharing your floofy friends. I think we've got a T-shirt on the pup on the left, which I'm pretty sure I want to say is Willow. However, Avery, if I am backwards again, do not hurt me. And then look at our friend Penny. Oh, Penny. Our little hefty gal, Penny. Look at her. She looks so happy.
They look relaxed watching this game, if that's what they were doing. At least the first 2, I think, were watching the game. Let's see. Cameron Orland here now with a 1-0 count. Here in the top of the 7th against Felton. 1-0 is high, 2-0. You got Orland, Schlotterbeck, DeLeon, the scheduled hitters. And if you're Coach Paul Malone, you're in a tough spot. Felton has been magnificent in this ball game. But there's not a lot of room for error here. The bullpen is up. And she's falling behind here, the leadoff hitter, Orland. Delivers a strike. It's 2-1. Cody now going to talk to Felton. What have you seen here from Felton?
Well, Felton's looked good all game. I think that she's just been dealing. She's been so efficient the last couple of innings, getting behind to some batters, which is, of course, what we don't want to see, but still trying to work the zone, still aggressive. And I think more than anything, the passion that she has out there in the circle is why she's still in this game. She's throwing a great game, but when she looks confident, I think that's why Coach Paul Malone is still giving her the ball.
2-1. But she's down now in the count as she missed there. It's 3-1. The question is, if somebody gets on, does the bullpen get called? Sarah Willis has been warming up, by the way, during that bottom half of the 6th. 3-1 pitch. Foul back. It's 3-2. Cochran was warming up earlier. You have Willis right there warming up. The reigning Big 12 pitcher of the week, by the way, first of the year for the Knights. In fact, UCF joining Oklahoma and Texas as the only teams to sweep Player of the Week and Pitcher of the Week award. Good company. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Huge strikeout for Felton. As she gets Orland on the strikeout, Cody does a nice job holding the ball there on the foul tip. For the out.
Caitlin Felton spinning that one right off the plate. You could not ask for a better location. Going to paint the outside corner. What a pitch from Felton, and that right there is what has fired her up. Her teammates have her back. Jada Cody, good job behind the dish.
Now Trinity at the plate. 5 strikeouts for Felton now in 6 1/3. She falls behind here to Trinity 1-0. Trinity has good power. With 1 out here in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Caitlin Felton.
We don't see too many complete games anymore. I feel like we have, though, from UCF, and I feel like that's so uncommon across the country.
Grounded to third. Humphreys is there. Throw to first in time. There's 2 outs here in the 7th as Felton gets Trinity on the ground out. And now a crowd of nearly 1,000 here on a Wednesday afternoon. DeLeon now at the plate. That hit the ball hard a couple times. Particular line out, that last at bat, hit it right to Williams. She's hitting here with no one on, 2 out. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Of course, Caitlin Felton's talked about working hard, having the confidence this year that she didn't have, quite honestly, last year, both physically and mentally. Loves this team, loves his teammates, loves the big role. Such a great team player. The 0-1 is missed high, ball 1-1, and we're seeing her grow before our very eyes. Just a junior. But we wondered going into the season, would the Knights have a consistent number 2 behind Willis? Felton has been that, and then some. That ball is hit to right field. Chloe Evans chasing foul territory, makes the catch to end the game. And the Knights win an old school pitcher's duel.